needs to know. Buckle up, don't do drugs, and remember your please and thank you. You do your best to put your kids on the right track. Sometimes, though, it's a rocky road for some parents. And guess who gets to blame? Well, no matter what you do, parents are always taking the fall when their kids are bad or they do the wrong thing. We're looking at some bad kids that are being loaded up there on the bus by the cops. Experts say, though, it's not always mom and dad's fault. We thought this would be comforting to many of you. Dr. Norman Hoffman is the author of Bad Children Happen to Good Parents, and Margie Mannion is a parenting expert. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Doc, let me start with you and ask you, how do you define a bad kid?
Well, there are a plethora of soft signs we've developed at the Hoffman Institute in Daytona Beach. It's old research material, but we brought it to the forefront. We see these kids right from the first year, the first 18 months of life. We see a lot of signs, such as even from the bottle feeding, they're more irritable, they're more difficult, and they resist hugging from their parent. They seem to struggle with early developmental milestones. And these are the kids that are more difficult to raise, and we see that as they grow up. They project blame on others. They don't feel guilt. They have objective anxiety, but they don't seem to have subjective anxiety. It doesn't last beyond the crime or beyond the insult of maladaptive behavior.
Yeah, you say there's also a lack of remorse. They're often manipulative. Margie, let me ask you this. When I think of bad kids, sometimes I think of kids who have everything but just can't seem to get their behavior under control. And let's put any medical reasons aside for that, because often it is not a child's fault, certainly not a parent's fault. But I think of those Barbie bandits. You see pictures of beautiful girls who come from good homes, reportedly, and they go in and they rob a bank, and they're so happy about it that they end up bragging about it, the Barbie bandits, afterwards. Margie, whose fault is that?
Well, you know, I think that bad kids can happen to good parents, but I don't think it just happens all of a sudden. I think that there are signs, like the doctor was saying, from a very early age. You know, kids start showing empathy and compassion at the age of 2. So, you know, I mean, just like showing general concern when somebody gets hurt or taking care of their dolls. And I mean, some kids definitely are more difficult to parent than other kids. That is obviously true. But I do think it's the parents' responsibility to foster those kids and to teach to them.
All right, everybody, I guess, tries to do their best. Doc, what's your advice if you have one of those bad kids?
Well, first of all, the new research that we're performing now is showing that 1 out of 25% of these children have these kind of conditions. So we work a program for the parents to increase the discomfort for the child, because if a child doesn't have discomfort when they're showing maladaptive behaviors, they're not going to change from individual therapy.
All right, so let me just ask parents to look for that. They can also look for your book. I want to get back to this wicked weather. Lives are being lost. Dr. Norman Hoffman and Margie Mannion. The book is Bad Children Happen to Good Parents. It's on Amazon.com. No worries, Doc. Take care.
Thank you.